Hi everyone, I want to talk to you today about attendee tracking technology. In this day and age, part of making smart decisions and being able to understand your return on investment is through the use of data, insights, analytics. And in the world of trade shows, conferences, events, it's no different. There are several different ways that people can track the attendees, they can track the show experience, and they can track the evaluation of how the show is going or how their own booth is going. Three different technologies that are currently on the market and being used are the RFID chip. That's an embedded chip. Usually that is attached to each person's badge for when they enter in a specific exhibit. That requires an opt-in, and it's pretty expensive. You've lost your data if people don't choose to opt in, but if you do, you get highly personalized information that can really help with your marketing efforts. There are also beacons, and beacons are put all around the show, and they really help with tracking true attendance and patterns and flow throughout an event. But those two are also very expensive and require people coming into range with those beacons. Lastly, there's the Wi-Fi sensor, and the Wi-Fi sensor is a really great cost-effective tool that allows people to understand from an anonymized view, so you don't get the attendee personalized information from registration, but as an anonymized tool, you get to understand how people are really engaging and interacting and how many people are truly attending your event or trade show. So those are some pros and cons of the different resources that are out there. And today what I really want to talk to you about is how to use those resources and tools, and specifically the Wi-Fi sensor, to really understand how people are engaging with your show and or your booth and using it as an evaluation tool. So first let me talk to you to show exhibitors. For show exhibitors, one thing that's really important is to have true numbers of who's attending. And through the different technologies, you oftentimes can get that. What is necessary to understand also for your own sake is not just how many people arrive on the first day and how many people walk through the main entrance, but from all the entrance points, how many people are attending and how many people are coming back throughout the day and throughout the show. It helps you understand where you should be positioning your exhibit times, your conference rooms, helps you understand what you might be offering on, say, the last day as things start getting slow, because there's always a last day that gets slow. Additionally, it helps you understand what the true value is of different areas that you are offering, whether that is sponsorship areas. You can say that there are X number of eyeballs that get to see the different sponsorship opportunities that you offer. But if you're really able to tell people how many people have come through a specific area or have stopped and used a specific area, that really increases the value of the sponsorship. It also helps you evaluate if you should be changing up your sponsorship options. Do people really want charging kiosks anymore? Yeah, I think they do. But, look at that. Is that something that's actually used, or an exhibitor lounge? Lastly, retention is a huge deal for all show exhibitors. And if you can prove that people are coming through the show, coming through the event or the conference, and what their traffic pattern is in the heat map, you have a better understanding of how to share with your exhibitors the areas that they choose to be in, the importance of those areas, and even help them understand the size of the booth they should consider because of the traffic pattern. It also helps you work with places like Map Your Show so that you can build better floor plans based on the flow of the traffic. Now, most people use leads as their evaluation tool. And whether that is the quantity of leads you get because people walk by and you scan everything, or whether that's the quality of leads you get because you've determined who you really want to stay connected with and how you're going to follow up with people who are truly interested in what your product or service is. So that works for both the exhibitor and the show organizer side. You don't just have to depend on leads anymore, because people oftentimes want to walk around. They want to take in the information, but they don't always want to stop and talk. And that doesn't mean they weren't interested. That also doesn't mean that your brand didn't get value by being seen. It just meant that you didn't get to scan them and do follow-up. With the internet having so much information on it and people making decisions ahead of time based on what is out there on your website and on your social feeds versus talking to actual sales representatives, it's important that they make a connection between what they have seen at the show and what is on your digital footprint. So Onto the exhibitor side. On the exhibitor side, like I mentioned, just with the other show, it's true traffic. You can say a show is really slow. You can say it was super busy. But did people actually stop? And how many people came by? And how often did they pass by? With the different technologies, you're able to see how often people came back through and truly went past your space. More importantly, the value of your booth is how engaging it is to people and how engaging your staff is to people, because the ultimate goal is for people to come into your booth, to interact, to be aware of what you offer, and then also to get those leads to follow up and create sales. That's oftentimes where that ROI comes in. So if you want to evaluate how well your staff is doing with engaging the different people who've walked by, the ability to use these resources, or technologies I should say, is that it tells you your dwell time. How long did a person stay in a booth? If a person has simply walked by, that's not dwell time. But if they've stayed for several minutes, that means that they were talking to somebody within your booth. And you can set dwell times, specifically with the Wi-Fi sensors, set your dwell perimeters, I should say, which allows you to know, based on how close you want somebody to be within range of your booth, if they're in specific areas of your booth, you can determine how long they dwelled at what area. So not only is it effective for determining if your staff was very engaging, were they smiling, were they reaching out, were they asking qualifying questions, and did people have more questions and they want to get more information, but you can also determine, was your booth properly created? Did you have an engaging booth? Did you have demonstrations? Did you have areas where people were more apt to come in or stay and less excited about certain areas, so they passed by or they walked through? So there's the engaged perimeter, which helps you understand people who have walked by and the eyeballs and the visibility and the brand awareness. And then there's the dwell time, and then the repeat visitor data that allows you to know how engaging that booth was, your staff was, and how often people came to visit. So Wi-Fi sensor technology is my own personal favorite. Because it's incredibly cost effective. It gives you the data you need to make the best evaluations, so that you can change what is happening at your shows, both as an exhibitor and as a show organizer. You don't have to rely on costly, expensive, opt-in, lost data, and you truly get what you need. You get heat maps, you get traffic patterns, and you can make easy decisions on how to change so that you have more successful shows. So I hope this helped you make some decisions for your upcoming shows this year. And if you want more information on those technologies, check out the link in my post. Thanks, and have a great show.